Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have seen it. I have seen Infinity War. I have seen Avengers Infinity War, and I'm not that impressed. And I hate reviewing these movies because all the fanboys come out and say, "Oh, this movie is so wonderful, it's so wonderful." This movie is terribly written. It's a good movie. The acting is superb because they got a bunch of world-class actors. The special effects are top-notch. It's just a dumb script. I mean, look, let's be clear here. This movie is about Thanos, or as I like to call him, Raisin Man. And Raisin Man has an upsetting past. He watched his planet die because of overpopulation. So he's come up with this plan. He's going to go to a bunch of planets and kill half the people, and this will make everything better. Raisin Man is not the smartest raisin in the raisin box, but he has a point. I must admit, eliminate half the problem. Someone is using the restroom. Eliminate half the problem. And I mean, it's like, yeah, okay, I guess if we got rid of, 8 billion people on Earth now? So if we got rid of 4 billion of them, it would solve the problem for a good 50 years. Yeah. God, the people are driving me nuts with the slamming doors. Here's the thing. If you watch this movie and you don't notice things like conservation of energy and plot, and you watch this movie as a comedy, it's funny. It's really funny. It is incredibly funny. This is very much, in my opinion, Thor's movie. Thor is probably the largest character in this film, but it is very clearly his movie, and he shines. He really shines. I love the part with Peter Dinklage, the giant elf, or giant dwarf, and that's just wonderful. And Chris Hemsworth, of course, he was practically born to play Thor. I'll, of course, grant you that Thor is an airplane. No, Thor is... Go away, airplane. Thor is a very easy character to put together. You just need a really big white guy. So that's I mean, if I bulked up, if I hit the gym for 2 years and was on a special diet, I could probably play Thor. But that's not the point. The point is, he's an easy character to cast, but Hemsworth does a wonderful job in it. But when you look at this movie, you've got a character that gets cut with a blade. Yet when you dump a broken spaceship on top of them, they're still alive. Conservation of energy. Let me explain this to you. If you're something that can take a punch from the Hulk and still exist, bullets annoy you at best. Maybe they tickle. Swords do not go through you. The Hulk is a character that can hit hard enough to knock a hole in the most well-built battleship ever created by man. There is no possibility that anything the Hulk can punch that still exists afterwards is going to worry about a bladed weapon, unless you're going to tell me somehow that this bladed weapon is super technology, and even then. So that's the problem I have. I mean, in the beginning of this movie, and I guess it's a spoiler, so I don't want to go into it too much, so alert, but the Hulk gets dwarfed. And what do I mean by dwarfed? This is a writing technique named after the character of Worf from Star Trek The Next Generation. There are a whole bunch of episodes. Worf comes out and gets owned. I mean, he's the big tough guy, and then suddenly he's on the floor, can't do a dang thing. And what this is referred to as getting dwarfed, because the whole point of Worf, you establish a total badass, and then, oh look, the badass doesn't mean anything to this, so we have a real problem. It establishes the difficulty of the problem. Okay, so you've got that. Well, if something can dwarf the Hulk, there's nothing else in the Avengers that should even bother it. I mean, it's stupid after that. It's just stupid after that. Nothing can dwarf the Hulk. Nothing that we worry about. So it's like, yeah, look, I watched this movie. I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was an okay movie, but it was a dumb movie that should be viewed as a comedy, not an incredibly intelligent movie that brings us better understanding of the universe. I mean, look, I grant you that this is very similar to Black Panther. I mean, you look at Killmonger and you're like, hey, I get what he says. I understand his motivation. I just don't necessarily agree with it. Same thing with Raisin Man. I don't necessarily agree with Raisin Man, but I get why Raisin Man is Raisin Man. Okay, makes sense. It just... This movie is truck. Bad truck. It's just... I feel that they could have written this story a little better. I like everything about this movie except for the writing, and that's where it lags with me. I know that right now it's getting more stars than every other Avengers movie, and I know that everyone's going to be pissed off at me. They're going to say, no, this is a... Look, no. The problem with this movie is conservation of power. That's the issue. Everything else is fine, but to me it's a glaring issue. All right? Anyway, that's my opinion. I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. I am... Car! I am Richard Leland Neal.